Is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today after 8 years of service in gratitude for this body and the people of Central New York who have entrusted me to represent them in Congress since 2015. When I first ran for Congress, I left a job that I absolutely loved as a federal prosecutor, trying cases involving organized crime, murder, political corruption, drug trafficking, and every manner of awful crime you can imagine. As a prosecutor, politics never mattered to me. I worked alongside public servants every day who sought to bring justice to victims of crime. We were united in our mission to make our community a better place. And I brought this similar approach to Congress, and I dare say it has worked. I am proud of the work we have done over the past 8 years. When I say we, I'm talking about myself, my staff, and my colleagues, to solve serious problems and unite people across this great land. I focused on unifying issues, and I've regularly introduced bills with Democratic co-sponsors. In fact, almost every bill I introduced, I would not introduce until I had a Democratic lead on that bill. I broke with my own party time and again when it was in the best interest of Central New York and America. I remained an active member of the Problem Solvers Caucus, and I am proud to have led and grown the Republican governance group to become a very powerful and moderate voice in the Republican Party. And I'm proud today to give this speech while some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are saying goodbye as well. And we did a lot of good things together, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm proud to call them my friends. And I'm proud of this approach to governing, and I'm honored to have consistently ranked among the most bipartisan and effective members in all of Congress. That's not me ranking it or my friends, that's in independent groups. It yielded passage of nearly 100 bills in my name and the enactment of laws by presidents from both parties. And most importantly, I was able to work across party lines time and again to deliver results for Central New York. We delivered a bipartisan infrastructure package, secured historic investments for domestic semiconductor manufacturing in Central New York that has now brought a manufacturer to Central New York who's going to invest $100 billion in Central New York. Stunning. We lowered taxes for the middle class. We began work on addressing the opioid epidemic and mental health crisis. And we worked on efforts to strengthen cybersecurity, improve airport and transportation security, and protect our homeland. In the past year alone, we brought home nearly $9 million in funding for initiatives that will improve the quality of life across our district. And of course, this has not been a one-man operation. I could not have had these successes without a tremendous amount of support. I've been blessed with family, friends, health, and most loving and patient wife you could possibly imagine, Robin. I've been supported by an incredible staff, some of whom I see here today, and I'm so glad you're here. I've been supported by faithful members across Central New York who diligently worked on the House Homeland Security Committee as well and to make our nation safer. 4 times my constituents in Onondaga, Cayuga, Wayne, and Oswego counties elected me to be their voice in Congress. And they have consistently provided me with valuable and oftentimes very frank input. And they've guided my decisions, to say the least. These constituents are not just Republicans, and they're not just Democrats, and they're not just independents, but they're all my constituents, and I profoundly understood that. And I'm eternally grateful for their input. Serving Central New York has been an honor that I can't possibly tell you. Excuse me. I got it here. Finally, as my time in Congress comes to an end, I urge my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats, to consider the impact of working across the aisle as they seek the many challenges ahead. Through my 8 years in Congress, I've consistently drawn inspiration from the relationship between 2 diametrically opposed political giants from the 1980s, Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. They were able to compromise and make progress on issues today that seem unfathomable: tax reform, tax cuts, immigration reform, and Social Security reform. Imagine trying to do that today in this divided House. They did it not because of personal political gain. They did it because of the love for the country, and we should all be instructed by that. While Congress is seemingly more divided than ever, our inability to find common ground is making us less competitive, on the world stage less prosperous, and getting in the ways of solving big problems. We were all sent here by our constituents to put the work in, to better our districts. And when there's only fights and no bipartisan cooperation, It's our constituents, not us, who suffer. And please remember that. I made working across the aisle a priority during my 8 years in the House, and I can leave here knowing I achieved real results along with my great team. And I worked every day to make my district in Central New York and this country better. So for the last time, Mr. Speaker, as a member of the United States House of Representatives, I yield back.
The gentleman's time has expired.